Hey guys, Fall Obsession Podcast is in the running for Best Podcast of 2024 on Carbon TV. That's right, we've been nominated for another Carbon Award. This is our second consecutive year being nominated for the Best Podcast Award. We're super honored. This is a big accomplishment for us, and it's great to have a show that has been nominated and in the running 2 consecutive years. But we need your help to bring home the gold this year. So you guys don't have to turn off this podcast. Keep it playing on whatever app you're listening on. But in your web browser, on either your computer, your tablet, your smartphone, whatever it might be, go to carbontv.com, select the menu on the left-hand side, go to Carbon Awards, and vote for Fall Obsession Podcast under the Best Podcast category. You can vote once a day, every day, from now until the end of the Carbon Awards at the end of the month. And we need your support. We need those votes to bring home the gold and make this podcast an award-winning show. So again, if you guys enjoy the show, you're tuning in every week, you're tuning into this episode, please go vote for Fall Obsession Podcast for the best podcast in the 5th annual Carbon TV Awards. We will get over to the episode here in just a second, but first, Fall Obsession Podcast is sponsored by Hoot Camo. We love working with the guys down here at Hoot. They are an American-made brand. They've designed their own camouflage patterns, designed their own gear. They got us outfitted last year. My first hunt with Hoot gear was the Flatland Deer Country hunt, and the film that we have on YouTube for that hunt is live. You guys can go check it out, but absolutely blown away by how the Hoot gear delivered on that hunt. The versatility of the pattern, the warmth and durability of the gear, it's all there. These guys have thought of everything. I love working with smaller organizations that have big ambitions, that are making a mark in the industry, but at the same time, I can pick up the phone and call their owner, call the guys that are actually making the decisions and talk to them, pick their brains, give them my thoughts. They can give me feedback, all that kind of stuff. These are the kind of relationships we want to build in the outdoor industry. So if you guys are looking to get into a good quality set of camouflage at a reasonable price, then go to hootcamo.com. Check them out, and even if you're not going to place an order for a full set of camo, they have fishing gear, golf gear, everyday lifestyle wear. They have all of it. You guys can put in an order and show your support no matter how big or small. And if you do order from them, use the code FALLOBSESSION15 at checkout, and that will save you guys some money. hootcamo.com. News on Safaris is a Fall Obsession Podcast partner. If you guys are looking to book an African safari, you want to go on one of those big adventures, then you need to book with News On. And what's even better is they have a deal for anybody who books with them and that tells them that Fall Obsession sent you. You'll get some incredible savings. Specifically, you'll get a $500 trophy credit, free lodging, food, and drinks. Your professional hunters and skinners and trackers, all those fees are going to be covered, and your basic trophy prep is 100% taken care of. That is a $2,250 value in savings per person, and that's valid for up to 4 people in your hunting party. Do the math on that. That could be $9,000 in savings on your next safari. We have guys on our own team that have hunted with News On, and other folks that we know outside of our organization that have hunted with them, and they have had a great experience. So if you guys want to book with them, you need to call Tim. His phone number is 303-946-9441. Book with him, and again, tell him that Fall Obsession sent you. That way you can get that smoking deal that we just talked about. News on Safaris. Elite Archery is a Fall Obsession partner. I have been shooting an Elite bow for several seasons now. No intentions of changing that. I love my Elite. It is a great, great bow. I can sit up here and talk to you guys all day about how much I love them and what I like about them and what makes them the best. But the ultimate test for you is going to be to go shoot it. So go to your local Elite dealer and put one in your hand and see what you think. Compare it to your existing bow, compare it to other bows you might be thinking about, and the results will speak for themselves. Even Elite tells you that is what you need to do, is go to the Elite dealer and take the shootability challenge. You won't be disappointed. The Outdoor Call Radio app is a podcast partner. Outdoors Dan from Respect the Game TV, he created an app that you can download on any device where you can stream hunting shows and podcasts on a loop every single day. You will catch Fall Obsession podcast playing on that loop on Mondays, the same day as our new publications, as well as tons of other hunting shows and podcasts that we all know and love. So go download the Outdoor Call Radio app today. It is free, and you can start streaming immediately. And go follow Outdoors Dan on social media. He does a couple of different live radio show broadcasts, a couple different times a week at Midwestern radio stations. But even if you're not local to those radio stations, he shares those broadcasts on his Facebook Live. So again, the Outdoor Call Radio app, go download it for free and go follow Outdoors Dan. Last but not least, Ridge Rock Hunt Company is a Fall Obsession podcast partner. Derek Eves is the man over there. If you're looking to book a hunt in North America with a vetted and trusted outfitter, you need to give Derek a call. He has a large network of just that, vetted and trusted outfitters that he himself has verified will give you a good experience. So he can get you hooked up with whatever you're looking for, work with you on all the details. I actually ran into Derek by accident this past weekend at the Texas Trophy Hunters Extravaganza. He's from Mississippi, and I was sitting there in the food court and just happened to look up, and there he was walking through the show, and it was really awesome to get to see him in person and get to hang out with him for a minute there at the show and talk to him. But he's a great guy. He'll get you fixed up. Again, Derek Eves, Ridge Rock Hunt Company. Go hit him up. Thank you guys again for tuning in to another Fall Obsession podcast. Whatever podcast platform you're streaming this episode on, please, please, please make sure that you hit that follow and or subscribe button, whatever they have for you up there. Turn your notifications on if that's an option. That way you get notified every time we drop a new podcast episode. We publish new episodes every single week with a ton of different guests, covering a ton of different topics, and I'll tell you, the guest list that we have coming up as we're entering the 200s in our episode numbers is pretty awesome, and you guys are going to enjoy it. You're not going to want to miss a single episode, so please make sure that you are subscribed to the podcast and streaming regularly on those platforms. Follow us on social media. Head on over to the website, check us out there. If you're so inclined, you can pick up a hat and a shirt, show a little support, and rep the Fall Obsession brand. But the most important thing and the best thing that you guys can do to help support a small-time hunting brand like us is simply by hitting the share button. Sharing our content, our podcasts, our shows, our episodes with your friends, with those that you know who enjoy hunting and outdoor content. That helps us more than you guys could even imagine. So please hit that share button. It takes a couple of seconds and helps spread the word about Fall Obsession to everybody. And again, don't forget to go vote for the 5th annual CarbonTV Awards Fall Obsession Podcast Best Podcast category on CarbonTV.com. All right, with that, we're going to get to the meat of the episode. Thank you guys for tuning in. You are listening to another Fall Obsession Podcast.
Oh, you got her, dude. She's down. Let's go.
Dude, I just shot a deer of a lifetime.
Freaking smoked him.
One with nature, and if you're a believer, one with God.
Definitely gets your heart pumping. Boy, you are in trouble.
Fall Obsession Podcast.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another Fall Obsession Podcast. 201 is this episode, our first episode after that big 200 milestone, and I hope you guys had a chance to go check out last week's episode with Johnny Mac from Soul Seekers, the big 200 episode. Really enjoyed that conversation. It was an awesome, awesome time hanging out with him for a couple hours on the mics and talking about everything, talking about life, talking about being just two guys in the arena, basically, making it happen in the hunting and outdoor industry and the grind that comes with podcasting and show production and all that kind of stuff, and just managing life outside of that and growing as people and as men in today's world. It's a great episode, and if you guys haven't listened to 200, this is my encouragement to y'all to, after you're done with this one, go back and listen to 200. It's a great episode, but I'm flying solo here today, and I'll just be straightforward with y'all. I really did not expect the first episode after 200 to be a solo podcast, but Johnny Mac and I actually talked in 200 about, some of the struggles with podcasting from a home studio, having a full-time blue-collar job outside of Fall Obsession, or in his case, Soul Seekers. And, the grind that comes with that, and sometimes schedules change. Sometimes guests fall through or reschedule on you, whatever the case might be, and you're left, quote unquote, scrambling, And I told you guys when I started doing solo podcasts that I never want an episode to feel like, I'm just giving y'all an episode for the sake of having an episode. Yes, this episode is serving the purpose as a solo podcast of me ensuring that we have some new content coming to y'all every single Monday. We're still fulfilling that. And this episode probably will be a shorter one, if I'm being honest with you. But I got a couple things that I want to reflect on, some things that I'm excited about coming up that I want to talk about and just share with you guys. And just go through a little bit of the stuff that's going through my mind right now. And a great place to start and where I want to kick that off is something that I am super excited about. I've alluded to it on our show for probably a couple months worth of episodes now, and that is my Idaho elk hunting opportunity this year for 2024. I have been trying to get an elk tag in Idaho, and I have a good family friend up there that extended the invite last year. Hey, you want to come up here, hunt elk? We'll do the whole deal, like 10, 15 miles, going back on horseback into the backcountry, setting up camp, scouting, hunting, and all that kind of stuff. And I was down, and I've told y'all before on the show, like my goal is to do something different right now every single year if I get the opportunity. Obviously, still doing my whitetail hunting down here in Texas, but I really want to do something different every year and mix it up. I spent so many years just throwing everything I had into Montana pronghorn, and I got to go the first 2 years, but then 3 years of unsuccessful draw applications. And that's a little discouraging. It's like, man, am I ever going to get to go back? And I still would love to go back and pronghorn hunt, but then it left me to think, man, am I wasting my time? Is there more that I can be experiencing? And the answer to that's yes. So, and I've talked to you guys before on the show, if you're a returning listener, about my Colorado mule deer hunt last year, and that being the first opportunity I took advantage of outside of that Montana pronghorn intention, getting to go check mule deer off the list, spot and stalk with a bow. That's the other part of this, and I'll talk a little bit about it. Is I'm a bow only guy at this point. I'm hunting big game with a bow, and there's no rifle tag to go with it in my mind. So fast forward to this year, we obviously had the Colorado mule deer experience last year that was successful, thank the Lord. But going into this year, I'm like, I want to take him up on that elk hunt invite. So kind of to summarize it, he has a group of guys, me being one that he wanted to take up there. He goes up there every single year, and he shot a really nice bull, a 330 or 340 last year up there. Really, really beautiful bull. And so I'm excited. I'm pumped. He put us all in as a group hunt and for the draw in the specific area that he wanted to go, and unsuccessful. So I was kind of discouraged, and I was like, man, maybe I need to find something else. I was disappointed, but I'm not discouraged, I guess I should say, because in my mind, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go do something else. Like, I'll find another opportunity somewhere. It might not be as epic as an elk hunt. It might just be hunting whitetail in a different state for all I know. But I'm going to go find something else to do. Well, he told me, he's like, hey, hang on for August 8th. August 8th, we can look at what over-the-counter options are there and see if there's any tags that are worth snagging up. That way we can see if he can still come up here. Fast forward to August 8th, last week, and he gets a hold of me in the morning. He's like, hey, dude, here's the tag. This tag, this zone, like, go put in for it right now. There's only 80 of them. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, absolutely. So I log on, and by the time I had logged on, they were down to 44 tags left for this particular thing. And I had to do the whole thing online where you have the progress bar on the website and you're quote-unquote waiting in line, right? And finally I get through, it's still available. I click on it, put it in my cart, snatch it up real quick, and boom. Just in a matter of minutes from not knowing if it was ever going to happen to all of a sudden, oh my gosh, now I have an elk tag. This is actually going to happen. So The plan is kind of mid to late September. We're going to go up there. We're actually making a family trip out of it. So myself and the whole family are going to pack up. We're going to road trip up to Idaho. We're going to see some stuff and do some stuff along the way. And then him and I are going to pack in toward the end of the month. I think the season opens October 1 up there for this tag that I have. And we're going to pack into the backcountry a day or two before, get set up, get situated, and then we're going to start hunting and give it a week or more of a hard hunt, everything we got, and see what happens. So that's the plan. I'm excited for it. I have never been elk hunting before, let alone a backcountry experience like this on horseback, the whole 9 yards. So I'm pretty excited for it. I'm not lying about that. I'm pretty pumped. It's gonna be awesome. I'm going into it, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, a bow only mentality. Bow only. And I've recorded a podcast kind of specifically about being bow only already. I think it was one of my other solo episodes, 190 or something like that, titled Archery Only. And I talk specifically about my mentality behind being a bow only hunter at the moment for big game. And I'm holding true to that. And I told him that. I was like, hey, dude, I said, I got this thing where I'm a bow only guy, and I wanna kill an elk with a bow. I will do everything on my end leading up into that hunt to be prepared for it, but I want to kill an elk with a bow. With that, I have the same mentality I had going into Colorado of, hey, if it's legal, I'm gonna shoot it first opportunity I get, because the Colorado hunt, as you guys know, again, if you're a returning listener, it was flat. I was bow hunting in rifle country, essentially, and crawling through CRP fields. We scouted over 68,000 acres in the 7 days that we hunted out there in Colorado of public, private, or permission ground that we had access to. And it was a grind, for sure. And I know that obviously I'm going to a mountainous setting now, and hopefully as far as topography, terrain, and all that kind of stuff, that can be more in my favor at this point. Or I won't say more in my favor. I will be able to utilize it more to my advantage if done right. I guess that's the way I should look at it. But all it is to say, I'm excited about this hunt. The bow's coming back out. I'm gonna keep it archery only for all of it. I'm pumped for it. I'm excited for it. It's gonna be great. And there's gonna be a lot of content coming to our pages around that. Just like we did for the Flatland Deer Country film around that mule deer hunt from last year, we're going to do the same for this elk hunt. I don't know what it's going to be called yet, but we are going to produce a film about this hunt specifically from start to finish and everything. We're going to do the whole thing again. I'm sure that there are going to be some podcasts probably drop in toward the beginning of October about this hunt and this experience. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for you guys to get to hear it. I imagine once I get up there with my buddy, him and I will probably record a pregame podcast, like kind of the expectations going into the hunt. I'm going to take some bare bones recording equipment with me up there. And thanks to our partnership with Dark Energy, I'm going to have power and battery power, solar power out there with me that can help power some equipment and keep everything charged up. But we'll record, I imagine, a podcast or two from camp, hopefully one including a successful elk kill, and see where the journey takes us from there. And then I'm also going to try to get some guests on the show in between now and the end of September to talk about some elk hunting stuff, because just like I said, I am new to this. This is my first time to ever get to do this, and I am not for 1 second going to pretend that I know what I'm doing. Just like the rest of you guys that have either can think back to going on your first elk hunt, or maybe are thinking about doing it right now or have it planned for this year, whatever it might be. I'm sure you guys are listening to a lot of podcasts, watching a lot of videos, trying to soak in as much knowledge and information as you can. That's going to be my goal as well, except in addition to doing those things, I hope to also do it through this show. I hope to bring some guests on the show that have some elk hunting experience, some elk calling experience, and be able to pick their brains about it and learn about it, and have you guys join us through the podcast along with that journey. So I don't know exactly what order guests will fall into, again, leading into that timeline, but that's something to look forward to here in the next couple months. Is we're going to have some elk hunting specific podcast episodes dropping both before, during, and after this experience. So I'm excited for it. That's one of the cool things about this show is we're able to do that, right? Through our experience and us learning about certain things, we are able to share that with y'all, and y'all are able to learn about it as well. And I think that's really cool. I think it's a really awesome thing that we're able to offer the greater hunting community, and I hope that you guys find value in that. I hope that that's what it feels like to you guys is, oh man, Sam is over here. He is about to go on his first elk hunt. I want to go elk hunting one day. I need to tune into these podcasts because these are folks that you too, for example, might want to learn from. So that's the intention and that's the goal behind it. Again, super excited for the opportunity and looking forward to going to Idaho on my first elk hunt. I'm hoping I can get it done with a bow again, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm pretty excited, but and again, I'll reference it for you guys that might be new to our show or new tuning in on Carbon TV, whatever it might be. We have a film on our YouTube channel called Flatland Deer Country. It's about a 30-minute film, and that's from the mule deer hunt last year. And if you guys want to listen to the podcasts on that hunt, episode 166 is Flatland Mule Deer. That's the first 3 days of that trip, basically, is what that podcast covers. Me having shot my mule deer spot and stalk with a bow in a CRP field on the third day of that hunt. And then the following episode, 167, is titled Flatland Whitetail. Mike Teepee, one of our show producers in Michigan, was in camp with Tim and I on that hunt, and he had a whitetail tag. So the second podcast, 167, covers his experience and then the grind that we had and the experiences we had whitetail hunting for the next 3 days, basically. And then episode 170, a couple episodes later, is the final installment in the podcast series, basically, where we met back up after the fact virtually to record an episode and talk essentially about, kind of summarize the trip and then talk about the final day of hunting. I had to leave on day 7 earlier than the other two guys, and a lot happened even after I left, so we hopped back on to talk about that. So that's a great episode to go back and tune into, or episodes, I should say. And what I really value about it, and I think I talked about this last week with Johnny Mac, was as a hunter, right? We all have these experiences in our minds. We all have these memories in our minds, and we talk so many times about the emphasis on building memories in the outdoors and everything. I'm not here to get off on a rabbit trail about how much work Fall Obsession, a media production company, running a podcast is, or anything like that. It is a lot of work, and I'll leave it at that for the sake of this episode. But one of the many things that I find value in is being able to go back and watch these videos again, listen to these podcasts again, and be able to relive these experiences. And as we continue to grow and expand our Fall Obsession network and build our team, bring more people into our organization, reach more people through our organization, my hope is that we can provide that to more and more people. Because being able to go back and relive an experience through an actual video or an actual podcast, there's nothing like it, and nothing can compare to that. You have the memories in your mind that will be there forever, but actually being able to visually go back and see it, or audibly go back and hear the excitement in your own voice when, like the day that you killed that deer, or me killed that deer in this sense. And I'm not trying to sound, selfish or make this about me necessarily, but this is my example, right? Is I can go back and listen to episode 166 of our podcast for the rest of my life and remember what it felt like, relive what Sam felt like the day that he shot that deer, and hear the excitement in my own voice. I I don't go back, honestly, guys, and listen to a lot of my own podcasts. And I know that's weird. I record them, I edit them, and then they go to publication. And once they're published, I normally do not go back and listen to them. Not because I'm not interested, but normally by the time that you guys are seeing, in this case, episode 201, I am already thinking about episode 202 and episode 203 and episode 204, if not already recording those episodes or having recorded those episodes, editing those episodes. So by the time an episode releases, I know we're pretty quick in our schedule. Like, everything moves pretty quickly as far as we normally record an episode and the following week it releases, or at the most it's like a couple weeks later. But my mind is thinking ahead, right? I'm focused on the future, what's coming up on the show. So I don't normally go back and listen to an episode that I've already recorded, sitting there myself, and then I've also edited and listened to it in the editing room. So with that, I got off on a little bit of a rabbit trail, but I don't normally go back and listen to a lot of these podcasts. But 166, it's my favorite podcast to date. It is, and it's because of the experience. And I have no doubt that a successful elk hunt, even an unsuccessful elk hunt, being able to go back and relive that experience through the show is going to be amazing. I remember I killed that deer just after Thanksgiving last year, and I came home. Everything got kind of settled. I settled back in at home, and I was a little late that year getting the Christmas lights up, but I was hanging Christmas lights, and for whatever reason, I was like, I want to listen to that podcast. So I listened to our own show, 166, not to hear myself talk, but just to relive the experience that I had just returned from and kind of wound back in, set back into reality a little bit. I was like, I want to relive that. I want to feel that again. And since then, I think this year I've listened to it again. And then we were actually, last week, I was having breakfast with my kids here at home, and they were like, Dad, we want to watch your deer hunt. So while we ate breakfast that morning, we watched Flatland Deer Country. And again, I'm thinking, how cool is this? That an experience that I got to go on my own, that otherwise would just be a memory in my mind. My kids got to sit there and watch it, and my kids can go back and watch it. The flip side of that too is, as my kids get into hunting and as they grow up, you guys are going to see in season 4 of Texas Dirt coming up later on, my son is probably going to be in that show a whole lot more than he has been in previous years, just because he's getting to the age now where he can start hunting. And both me and him are going to have that. Once we publish those episodes, we're going to have that for the rest of our lives, where we can go back and watch his journey into hunting. And that is, I guess, where I'm going with all this is, it is so cool, the world that we live in. Whether you could have a platform and a podcast and shows like Fall Obsession, or you could just be a guy out there with a phone or a video camera filming your kids' stuff and saving them on a computer. You don't even have to put them online. Being the technology age that we live in and being able to capture all that and have that forever for the next generation of hunters and the generation after that, that's going to be so cool. And I feel like the people who were big in the hunting industry, they kind of like in the 90s and the early 2000s, right? There were people who had shows, and those people have had the opportunity to have their kids that are now becoming adults kind of look back on it and, oh yeah, that's what it was like when my dad was a young guy and started hunting, or there's me as a kid, and now I'm growing up. And now we're in an age where everybody should be able to do it to some extent. And I just think about my son, for example, and what he when he's a grown up, or when he has kids, what he's going to be able to go back and watch, what he's going to be able to go back and see, just through this platform, through Fall Obsession, through all of these productions. What is he going to be able to relive his own experiences? He's going to be able to show a video to his 6-year-old son one day on, hey, look, here's me when I was your age and your granddad, and this is a video of my first hunt or my first deer or whatever it might be. That is so cool. And that's what it's all about. Whether it is preserving these memories in a forever form, in my opinion, for the next generations, mentoring current and future generations, just having an impact on others in the hunting and outdoor community, that is the goal. That's why we do it. That's why Fall Obsession exists, is so that we can impact others who are beginning, in the middle of, or even at the end of their journey in hunting in the outdoors. That's why we do it. So, it's just cool. It's just cool that we're able to do that through this show and through our podcast, through our video series, through our staff programs. I do want to talk a little bit briefly just about those. I know I've mentioned them on our show before, but the August typically here at Fall Obsession is a very busy time for our organization. And the reason is, and I'll give you a peek behind the curtain a little bit, is we have as most of you may know, we have a pro staff, a field staff, and a brand ambassador program here at Fall Obsession. And currently, I think the number is we have mid 30s of individuals in different capacities that are representing us across the country. Anywhere from content creators that are just sending in some photos and articles every so often to we have guys like Mike Teepee, for example, that's producing his own show, and anywhere in between. Todd Sellen, our staff manager, he is a rock star and gets so much done and works very hard at our staff programs. If you guys have applied recently for the brand ambassador program, Todd's the guy that you've been talking to, and very passionate about the outdoors, very passionate about the family and the brother and sisterhood aspect of the community that we're trying to build. And that's the culture that Todd and his wife Heather and our other regional coordinators here at Fall Obsession, that's the culture that they've nurtured here at Fall Obsession. I can't take all the credit for it by any means, because folks here can truly get what they put in at this organization, or get out of it what you put in, as far as the relationships that you build, the opportunities that you have, and the people that you get to be with. Like all those things, you get what you put in. It's a family over here at Fall Obsession. That's what our staff programs are. And Todd and his team do an amazing job to continue to nurture and develop that. So I'm very grateful for them and the work that they put in our staff programs. But August is a busy time, because not only are we continuing with our regular weekly and monthly productions and all the stuff that you guys visually see on your end, but we start what we call a new staffing year every September 1st. And think of it like our fiscal year, if you will. So we kind of just hit the reset and refresh button September 1 before a new fall hunting season starts. And that's an opportunity for us to make any sort of adjustments we need to do to our staff programs, or give folks themselves the opportunity to make some adjustments if they need to transition to some other roles and responsibilities perhaps that might be more fitting for them, or apply for new positions that we have coming up. We do some policy revisions this time of year. So August is slammed behind the curtain at Fall Obsession. And it's a lot of work. It's very taxing, but at the same time, it's pretty rewarding and it's pretty awesome. Because Johnny Mac asked me last week in 200, are you where you thought you would be? And my answer was no. And his next question after that was, do you feel, I forget exactly what he said, I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but do you feel like you'd be farther? And my answer again was no. I didn't think that Fall Obsession, me personally, our team, any of us would be this far. There are certainly goals in my mind that we have yet to achieve that are still on the table, things that we still need to accomplish, but all in due time. And I told Johnny Mac last week, if Fall Obsession is never anything more than what it is right now, I'd be content. It's not that I want it to stay like it is. Like I said, I still have goals and aspirations. I still have intentions, but all in due time, all in God's time, because you get what you put in at every level of this organization, of this team, of this company, of this brand, from top down, from owner, CEO, show host down to brand ambassador. You get what you put in. So a lot left to accomplish, but I did not think that we would be at this point. I did not think that we would have a podcast with over 200 episodes online now, and 2 consecutive years of being nominated for Best Podcast on Carbon TV, of all things. Like, I would never have guessed that. I would never have guessed that as many people as listen to the show want to hear me talk in a solo episode like this, for example. But I am very grateful for each and every one of you tuning in. Please know that I truly am. So yeah, this is a journey. There are goals and milestones and, markers, destinations along the way, but there's not a finish line necessarily, because this thing is just going to keep on going and hopefully keep on growing to the point where we can not only continually impact and influence the lives of everyday hunters and outdoorsmen and women, but we can also actually provide, my goal is employment opportunities for these folks as well. And that's a big goal, and could be still a little ways away in the fall obsession picture, but it's still there. I want to share with you guys too our mission statement, because our team here, again, I told y'all, a lot of stuff happens in August, and I wanted to share with you guys 2 things. One being our mission statement, and the other being our core values, because I think that it's very important to have core values as an individual, as a part of an organization. I think that an organization should have core values. It defines who you are, and it defines what your intentions are. It defines what people should expect from you. Our mission statement at Fall Obsession, and this is not me coming up with this. This is inspired by our team. This is a group of us that came together within our organization to determine this is who we are. And our mission statement here at Fall Obsession is empowering and inspiring men, women, and children through quality content creation, enhancing the skills and knowledge of the everyday outdoor enthusiast. That is the goal. That's our mission. No matter how big or small, that is what we seek to accomplish. And our core values, the values that we apply to everything we do in the name of accomplishing that mission, there are 4 things. The first one being family. Family comes first, and we are always going to try to involve those that are around us. No matter their age, no matter who they are, we want everybody to have the opportunity to be involved in what we're doing. The next one is quality. There's quality. We seek to accomplish and bring quality in everything we do, from our work, our content, our outdoorsmanship, all of it. It should be done with the utmost quality, in my opinion. Next is respect. As hunters, we will respect the game we pursue. We will respect our fellow outdoorsmen and women, and we will show respect for the land that God has given us to hunt and fish. Respect for the outdoors. And finally, our last core value at Fall Obsession is authenticity. We are true to ourselves. We are true to our word. And our goal is to provide you guys with an honest reflection, an honest opinion, an honest education for those of you seeking edification. There are so many people in this world, period, but even in the hunting and outdoor space, that in my opinion are not authentic. There we go. I almost butchered the word. They're not authentic. They put on a face or a personality as soon as they get in front of a camera or a microphone. And I don't want that to be who we are here. I want it to be 100% on what you see is what you get. And if you guys could listen to every single one of our podcast episodes and hear me talk and feel like you have a gauge on who I am as a person, you meet me at a trade show, I would hope that you feel like you're talking to the same person. I would hope that you feel like you're talking to another blue collar hunter just like you, because in my opinion, I'm nobody. I'm a guy that has determination, drive, and works hard to continually bring content to Fall Obsession's platform. But outside of that, as far as who I am as a hunter, I'm just the same as the next guy. I have the same struggles as the next guy. I take advantage of the ability to have a platform to share that with other people in hopes of educating others, right? So that's the goal behind that, and even from who we are as people down to who our organization affiliates themselves with. That's another thing that I've mentioned before, is that I take pride in the fact that we affiliate ourselves with like-minded organizations. There are big organizations that we're affiliated with. There are small organizations that we're affiliated with. But if I'm getting a bad vibe from somebody, if I don't feel like somebody is being trustworthy or authentic or genuine or really has any just interest at all in what we're doing over here, I would rather not affiliate with them. I would rather affiliate with smaller brands who are genuine people who are truly working hard to succeed. A great example of that is our partner Hoot Camo, and I'm not bringing them up to plug them as a sponsor for you guys at this moment in time, but I'm bringing them up as an example of one of our model partners. This is a group of guys who are working extremely hard and giving it everything they have in, money, sweat, and time, essentially, to build a brand and a quality product in the hunting and outdoor space. And they are genuine. These are guys that I can pick up the phone and call, and I can tell them, hey man, there was a zipper on this piece of gear that broke, or there was a problem with, whatever on this piece, whatever it might be. I can give them some criticism and critique on their gear, and they'll be like, thank you. We want to make our stuff better. We want our stuff to be the best. We want to know what doesn't work and how we can change it. The flip side of that for me, though, is I'm also going to compliment them on what does work, right? It's not going to just be critique on their product in a negative way. There's going to be positive as well. The patterns, the quality, the customer service, all of it, it's all there. And I tell them that frequently. We were at the Texas Trophy Hunter Show this past weekend, and Hoot Camo was there, and I stopped by the booth a couple times and hung out with them, and we just had some good conversations, shot a quick video, and all that kind of stuff. But again, the mutual respect for what each other's doing in the hunting and outdoor world, and then for each other, is there. And that's the kind of partners, those are the kind of people that I want to affiliate my brand with, because who Fall Obsession affiliates themselves with also reflects on Fall Obsession, right? So, and that's the case for any brand. If you have your own hunting show or your YouTube channel or whatever, and keep in mind that anybody you affiliate with, that also now, it's a two-way street, or it should be. So now that company can reflect back on your brand and your name as well. So be genuine and be authentic yourself, and strive to affiliate yourselves with people that do the same. So I got off a little bit on authenticity there, but I don't really, thinking back, I don't really know what popped in my head for me to want to share that with you guys on this podcast. But our mission statement, our core values, we took some time this month to define those and shape those to truly reflect who we believe we are, what we want Fall Obsession to be, and the impressions that we hope you guys have of our organization. So I want to take a minute to share that with you, and I'm going to start wrapping up here. I told y'all it wouldn't be a super long podcast, but appreciate you guys tuning in and everything. Super excited for this elk hunt that I have coming up. The one other thing that I didn't hit on that I was going to hit on with that is I don't know how I feel about it yet, just because of how the dates are lining up, but I'm actually going to miss the archery opener here in Texas for whitetail because of this elk hunt. So it will be worth it either way. I got some really, really nice bucks showing up right now on the Tacticam Reveal 3.0 cameras, and I'm pretty stoked about them. I'm hoping that they hang in there and stay consistent leading into opening day. And I'll tell you, Nick Pal, here real quick, if you're tuning in, like, hey, don't be going after all my bucks, right? I'm kidding. They're everybody's bucks. So thank you guys for tuning in. Appreciate it. Thank you for showing your support to Fall Obsession. I know I mentioned it at the beginning of the episode before the intro, but we are nominated again this year for the CarbonTV Award. So if you guys haven't done it yet in the time that you've been listening to this podcast, please go to carbontv.com, click on the menu on the left-hand side, go to the Carbon Awards section, and scroll down to the Best Podcast category and cast your vote for Fall Obsession Podcast. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the support. If you guys are tuning in to this show on Carbon TV and you enjoy the show, you make it a point to tune in every week. Again, this is a completely free way. It only takes a few seconds of your time that you can show your love and support for the show and for the brand. Vote for Fall Obsession Podcast for Best Podcast in the 2024 Carbon TV Awards. So you can vote every day, every day, all the way until the awards are over. So please head over there, even if you can't make it every day, whenever you can think of it, to vote for us. We appreciate the support. With that, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in to another Fall Obsession podcast. I should be back on here with a guest for your normal programming next week, and I look forward to it. But thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you guys then on the next episode of Fall Obsession Podcast.